What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another view. And to make it short and sweet, Texas Chainsaw 3D is a terrible movie. I do not like this movie. I think this movie is complete and utter garbage. It has a few things that I legitimately like, but the rest of this movie is garbage. Things I like. I like Dan Yeager as Leatherface. Given the terrible material that he has to work with, at least he comes across as pretty imposing as Leatherface, and I like him. Uh, I like the actor Paul Ray, who plays the main villain of this movie called Bert Hartman. He plays a good douchebag. I like the cameos by Bill Moseley, Gunnar Hansen, Marilyn Burns. Just seeing them as a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, just seeing these guys in this movie as fan service, since this movie has nothing really else to offer, is cool. And it's a damn shame that this was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that brought back Gunnar Hansen. It's a damn shame that his final movie, just in his lifetime, has to be this piece of junk. The whole story of oh yeah, by the way, those are my only positives. I got nothing else. I got nothing else to tell you. That's it. This movie is terrible. The continuity errors in this movie are it's amateur hour. So this movie is supposed to be a direct sequel to the 1974 movie. So with a fully functioning brain, you would think, okay, 1974. This movie takes place directly after the events of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre original movie, which is set within the time that it was made in. And this movie has a flashback scene that is pretty much a continuation of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and all the costumes and all the vehicles look to be from the 70s. Okay, you would think, with a fully functioning brain, that this movie would take place in the 90s, right? No, this takes place in current day at the time, 2013. That's not how math works. This movie takes place 40 years after the events of the first movie. The fucking actors in this movie should not be in their early mid 20s. They should be in their mid 40s. Or at least late 30s. Amateur hour. Stupid. It throws off the entire timeline, and it's the most distracting thing in this whole movie is the fact that the flashbacks take place in 1974. This movie is a direct continuation of the 74 movie, yet it takes place in 2013. Continuity is important. You can't. The reason why they chose to ignore this was because it would be pretty cool because there's one scene in this movie where a cop uses a smartphone, and one of the producers said, "Well, we're not idiots, but we thought it would be pretty cool if a smartphone was." You sacrifice continuity for a fucking gag. Amateur hour. The acting in this movie from the main cast, also amateur hour. Trey Songz in this movie, and he has my fucking pinky finger has got more acting ability than that man. He is god awful. His friends, they're god awful too. Alexandra Daddario as Heather, she is the most stupidly written character in this entire movie, and it's revealed that she is also a Sawyer, and her transition from who she is at the beginning to her becoming a Sawyer is completely stupid and out of left field, and it's really fucking hokey, and it's used as a jump scare, which is complete and utter stupid. Not only that, there's this subplot in this movie of her best friend fucking her boyfriend, and she's completely fucking oblivious to this. Even though there are scenes where she's not that far away from them, her best friend grabbing the boyfriend's crotch, saying, ah. They come out of a bar naked, and she does not question these things. Your slutty best friend and your cheating bitch boyfriend are fucking behind your back. You don't put two and two together. I realize you're being chased by Leatherface, but even someone being chased by a psycho killer would say, "Hey, why are you two naked coming out of a barn for?" Come on, man. This is fucking amateur hour. Yeah, the acting in this movie is fucking god awful. The story of this movie makes absolutely no fucking sense. The continuity errors in this movie are just god awful. This movie had an interesting concept by having a family feud of the Sawyers versus the Hartmans, but it does nothing. But it's done in a very stupidly way. The whole thing of making the good guys the villains and the bad guys the whole notion of making the Leatherface a bad guy, a good guy, and making the people who are supposed to be the good guys the bad guys is completely dumb, is completely ridiculously stupid. Leatherface should not be a good guy. He should be sympathetic, yes. Yes, he does suffer from mental retardation, so he doesn't understand things. But that doesn't mean you make him a good guy. He's still a villain. He has to be a villain. This movie sucks. I don't like it. Unlike the next generation, I think this movie's on the same level of stupidity as the next generation. But at least the next generation had Matthew McConaughey on a cocaine-induced sugar bender performance. This movie, mediocre performances at best, shitty special effects. John Lucianhop can't direct his way out of a paper bag. His directing is so... you can tell this guy is not a horror director, and he doesn't like horror movies because his direction is so fucking stock. This movie has no atmosphere. It has no... nothing. It has nothing going for it. It's just things happening on screen. This guy does not know the difference between a slow burn pace and just filler time waste. This movie is just filler time waste till you get to the climax, which I will admit is pretty entertaining. Seeing Leatherface with his chainsaw take on Burt with a crowbar in the slaughterhouse, it's an entertaining fight for what it is. But getting up to that part, this movie is a slug to get through. The story inconsistencies is stupid. The plotting of this movie is retarded. The cast is completely just on autopilot, with the exception of a few people who actually try, but they're not trying that hard. Yeah, this movie's fucking terrible. I got nothing else to say. This movie's one... yeah, I'll give it... you know what? I'll be generous. I'll give it a 2 out of 10, because at least... yeah, 2 out of 10. I got nothing. This movie's terrible. 2 out of 10. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know too. Like the video and subscribe. I'll check you back next time for more.